Hey everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you a real easy tip for building a rake wall. So I was looking on the internet and stuff, and there's a bunch of confusing stuff, and it seemed that people made it a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. So you see my rough drawing here. I got 137.5 inches from one side of my rake wall to the other, and then I wanted it to be 10 feet tall, right, on this side, and 8 feet on this side, just to make things simple. So really all you need to do to figure this out, I was trying to figure out each stud and how far it was, depending on, if there's a window or whatever, and then and how long that stud's gonna be, so I could cut them all to fit. Basically all you need to do is get the bottom plate, which is just the length from one end to the other, right? And then all you have to do, so this is all 8 foot right here, right? Basically. Then this one is 10 foot. So basically it's just 137.5 inches by 24 inches, because this stud is 8 foot and this is gonna be 10. So in order to figure that out, you just got to do the Pythagorean theorem real quick. What is it? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. C being the hypotenuse, right? So you want to find out how long your top plate needs to be. So basically you're just going to plug in the 137.5 and then the 24 inches, whatever basically whatever your run is, and then your rise basically. So 137.5 squared plus 24, because 2 feet over there, 24 inches squared is going to give us our top plate. So unless you can do this in your head, I like to use a calculator. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay, so anyway, 137.5 squared plus 24 squared is going to equal 19,482.25. So let's just go put that. What is the square root of that? 482.25. So 139 inches, 139.57. We can just round up 0.58 inches basically. And that's going to give you your top dimensions. So this is going to be, what, 139.58. So what's 0.58? Can we bring that into, back into inches basically, to make it more simple, like a fraction, 16ths, I don't know. So what would it be? 139.50 and 58 hundredths basically. That's how you look at that, right? So if you just take 58 over 100, you can turn it into a fraction. Can we make 100 into 16? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to. Well, we can divide it by 2. We can divide it by, what's 58? Trying to figure out how can I make this into 16ths. Can we take 100 divided by 16? 6.25. So if we 100 divided by 16 is 6.25, so if we divide 100 by 6.25, we'll get 16ths, right? So let's take 100 divided by 6.25. I'm doing the math over here. You can see that. Equals, so yes, so if we divide both of them by 6.25, we'll get the 16ths. So 16ths, so I need to divide 58 by 6.25, right? 8 divided by 6.25 equals, so that gives us 9.28. So that's a little bit easier to understand. Basically 9 1/3 16ths basically, So you could either round that down to 9, just say 9/16. Okay, so basically the 139 and 5/8 and 58 hundredths is the same as 9/16. So that's all you really need to do to find this top rail. And then to do the rake wall, you don't need to measure, you know, each stud and figure out how long each stud is going to be. All you need is the first wall. If you want it to be 8 feet, obviously, the top rail here and the bottom rail are both 1.5 inches, right? So you're going to want to subtract 3 inches, because 1.5 inch plus 1.5 inches, 3 inches, to make the wall, if you want it 8 foot exactly. Okay, so that's what I wanted anyway. So, and then the same over here. If you want this to be 10 feet, you have to take away, you know, 3 inches from your stud here. Okay, so obviously this is what, 8 times 12, 80. 8 times 12 is 96. 96 minus 3, 93 inches for your stud over here. Man, I can't like think and do a video at the same time. Just making sure I get that 8 times 12. I'm really not a moron. Okay, 96, yeah, okay. And then the same with your 10 footer, just 10 times 12 is 120 inches. I know that one, divided and take away 3 inches is 117 inches, right? And then so this is just my example. This is what I'm doing. So then you just basically do these sides, and then the angle you're gonna have up here, let's see, is there another complicated formula for the angle? I think there is. I think it went basically like, it was something like sine, and then the sine equals basically the adjacent by the opposite, something like that, or the cosine. Anyway, you can find an angle if you know like the length of two sides, or any two sides. There's these different things here, sine, cosine, and tangent, if you want to find the angles. So if you want to find this angle, right, then you're gonna want to find the adjacent, and then you could use the hypotenuse or the opposite, basically. So it depends on which one you want to use. And it depends on what information you have. Well, we have the information. We have this one. We know is 100. Sorry if we go down. We know it's 137.5. So we have this. We have the hypotenuse because we figured it out already. And then we know what this is, 24 inches. So basically, if you want to do this to figure this one, it's the opposite angle, the opposite side, and the hypotenuse. So you could say 24 inches plus 139 and 9/16 inches, or divided by, sorry, and then that'll give you the sine. So if you have a calculator like this, it has all this stuff. It has cosine, has sine, has tangent. So this is Texas Instruments calculator, very helpful. So basically, if you want to find that, it's if you want to find the angle. Okay, so you punch the information in with using this. So if I want to find sine, right, I go opposite, so it's going to be over here. So let's just do it, 24. So it's going to be 24 inches divided by the hypotenuse, right? Okay, so 24, oops, 24 divided by the hypotenuse, which was 139, basically what did I say, 0.58, equals, so 0.1719, okay, or, yeah. Anyway, so we use the opposite and we divided it by the hypotenuse. So you do the sine thing, which is this one. So you do sine of basically 0.1719, and it equals, did I do that right? 0.003 degrees. Shoot, I think I did that wrong. Man, I'm trying to figure out can't remember which one I did, but I got, maybe I used the cosine. I'm sorry, guys. So the cosine would be the adjacent divided by the hypotenuse. So basically let's try this one. That doesn't look like a real angle. I got like 9.9 degrees, but I wanted to show you guys that I actually got that. So let me try again here, because that doesn't look right. Let's see. So we'll try the cosine. Maybe that's the one I used. So adjacent divided by the hypotenuse. So the adjacent side was 137.5 divided by the hypotenuse, 139.58 equals 98. Okay, and then the cosine of 0.9850. Oops, shoot. Cosine of, oh, maybe that's what I did wrong. I did just regular sine. Hold on. I think I was supposed to do sine. Oops. Eep. Sine of 0.1719. Okay, yeah. So when you do the sine, make sure it's a sine, because there's just sine right here, cosine tangent, but then there's negative, I'm sorry, I can't think or speak this morning. At any rate, you get your angle right here. So I just rounded up to 9.9. This one's 80.10. This one's 90, right? Because it's a triangle at 180. Wait, that's not right. 90 and 90, yes, is 180. Man, I can't think this morning. Okay, so that's how you get the angle. Okay, sorry. Okay, it's really not as hard as I made it look with the right calculator, if you push the right buttons. Okay, so now we know our angle, right? So all you have to do, you put in this stud, you do the bottom plate, you cut your top plate to that length, and you have this stud, and then you tack these together, and then you don't have to guess, oh, how long is this stud gonna be, how long do I have to make this one, or blah blah blah, and and I have to have it all measured out before I do it. No, just take your stud after you have your frame here. Take your stud and basically you put it underneath this frame, basically, and then just draw a line. Okay, the angle and everything will be in there. So depending on where you put your studs down here for windows and however you want to work it out for sheeting, and you're trying to do 16 or 24 on center, whatever, none of that really matters. You just lay out your stud, and it's going to be longer than from top to bottom here, right? And then you just basically take where the angle of it, if you know where it is down here and where you want it up here, this will be square, and this will be the same distance from here to here. So then you just put your stud down basically, and draw like with a pencil where you need it cut. Then take the stud back out of there, cut it on your miter saw. It's going to be like at a little bit of an angle, and you've got it. So you don't have to figure out all these measurements in here before you do the rake wall. And that's what had my mind spinning, like, oh, how much do I need to add to each one? And then since I don't have all these aren't exactly 16 on center, I made this one 11 because I'm going to have another wall over here. So I want it from the 3.5 more inches. I want it to be to be 16 basically, with the 3.5 over here. So I wanted it to land and start 16. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I try to factor in like sheets of OSB or whatever you want to put on your side, but they're usually 4x8, right? So I tried to factor those in too. But I'm gonna have another wall over here and another wall over here. So I wanted to have the plywood or the OSB fit over this to tie the walls in together more. So that means I started my stud at 11 3/4 basically, with the 3.5 inches for the other wall basically. So that's why I did that. It made sense in my head, and it's just a treehouse. So anyway, thanks for watching, folks. I hope that helped. That you don't have to figure out all these other stud lengths before you do your rake wall. Just do your frame. Just figure out the top plate, your two sides, and the bottom plate, and then use the math. Definitely use a calculator unless you're like a stinking genius to figure all that out. But I hope that helps. That'll give you the angle, and then you can do the angle. You can either use one of these if you want to do the angles, or you can, I think just in your miter saw, you can figure out the angles on your miter saw. So, or just, yeah, then just draw, then just put the studs under there, and then draw with a pencil, and then pull the stud back out, cut it to length, cut it to angle, and you're good to go. So I hope that helped everyone out there. I wish I would have seen a video like this when I was trying to do this, because I wasted like 2 days trying to figure stuff out. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.